I seem to remember someone mentioning that motherhood was really difficult. I'm a little fuzzy on it now, but I'm pretty sure that it came up somewhere between your boobs are never going to look the same again and right before you will always be tired. I embarked upon motherhood the same way that many late 20s college degree holding suburbanites did. I dutifully bought a copy of What to Expect While Expecting, though I never actually read it because I like suspense. I decorated the nursery in calm yet stimulating colors. I stocked up on my boppies, my bumbos, and my boo-boo buddies. I'm ashamed to admit that I held a smug sense of arrogance about my mothering abilities. I was a teacher for several years and saw the two jobs being akin. I could, after all, mold the minds of 30 kids in 84 minutes. How hard could taking care of two little people be in the course of a lifetime? Well, I was as unprepared as I sounded. I managed to muddle through the first 2 years of my son's life relatively unscathed. Me, not him. He was totally unharmed, even by my singing. I learned about feedings, pooping, milestones, and potty training with the best of them. I started to believe that I was so good at this motherhood thing, so good that I could add on a second child and seamlessly transition from mother of one to mother of two. I was not prepared for what would happen after my second son was born. I was not prepared for postpartum depression. I thought that I could steel myself against it and pretend that it wasn't there. I hid what I was feeling from everyone around me until I couldn't. I reached a point where my body and my thoughts were so unrecognizable from the person that I was playing that I could no longer assume the role. I could be angry one minute and weepy the next. I would cry in bed during the day, and my 2-year-old would say that, "Mommy's just sad." I started to fantasize about killing myself, planning my death around others, making sure that I would not leave my babies unattended. I rationalized that it would be better for me to die now, when my children were young, instead of later, when they were older and could miss me. I convinced myself to wait for the right time, and thankfully it wouldn't come. My postpartum depression was also exhibiting itself in other ways that I didn't understand. I became irritable. Things that truly didn't bother me before elicited physical responses. My chest would tighten. I would start to feel lightheaded, and my response was to scream at anyone or anything near me. I stopped sleeping. I would wake up to pump or feed the baby in the middle of the night and could not sleep again because I was angry, but not at the baby. I was angry at everyone and everything but the baby. I would lose myself in fits of rage, slamming doors, breaking things, punching walls. I was a time bomb, and I feared when I would go off. One of the final straws came when I decimated our refrigerator and its contents. I kicked, punched, and beat this helpless appliance. I ripped drawers off their hinges, spilled food to the floor, including a bag of fresh apples. They lay on the floor, as bruised and battered as I was feeling inside. I was afraid. I was afraid of what I was capable of. I was afraid for my husband and my children. I was the thing that I feared. I wasn't capable of controlling myself any longer. I made a very important call to my mother and father and started to tell them what had transpired in the last few weeks. They arrived at my house and I broke down. Though I know they loved me, even in those moments, they threatened to commit me or to remove my children from my house if I didn't seek help immediately. I did. I started seeing a therapist. I admitted the ugliest parts of myself to a total stranger because I was desperate to change. I chose to be honest about what I was going through because I love my children more than I can put into words. I love them more than a label and more than a stigma. I was diagnosed with postpartum depression, including postpartum rage. I began taking an antidepressant. The truth is that I remain on it to this day because I never want to meet that person again. I choose to tell my story out of fear, but not the same fear that I had before. I fear how many other mothers may feel or will feel how I felt and not speak up. I fear how many women may think that the pressure they are under is normal and that being weepy is just a phase and that the anger can be controlled. Please, please speak up and speak out. As I stand here today, I do have another fear. I fear I'm still being labeled a mess, a bitch, a terrible mother. But at the risk of sounding smugly arrogant yet again, I'm probably not. I'm standing in front of a group of people who know just what I mean when I say that motherhood is really, really difficult.